Meantime, turning to this story, while the hostage situation continues to unfold in Israel, the Trump administration is making its own diplomatic history in the region. Just last week, U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee visiting an Israeli settlement in the northern West Bank, becoming the first American ambassador ever to do so.
The West Bank is a disputed territory that Israelis revert to as Judea and Samaria. And the naming of this area, a long-standing point of controversy, with the terminology often reflecting political positions on the region's future.
I never use a term that says anything other than Judea and Samaria, because to me the biblical terms are the terms that really describe this land and take it back 3,500 years. To say anything else would, to me, be a sacrilege. It would be unbiblical, if you will, to use language that is not representative of the very history of this very holy place.
Those words from Ambassador Huckabee marking a significant shift in U.S. diplomatic language. While most international bodies and previous administrations have used the term West Bank, Huckabee's use of biblical terminology signals a change in the official U.S. position.
And here to discuss this and more is Governor Israel Ganz, is with the Binyamin Regional Council and chairman of the Yesha Council, and was there last week for Ambassador Huckabee's historic visit to the West Bank. Governor, good to see you. Thank you for coming in the studio. Good morning to you. You saw the ambassador, at least as we did there, but you were obviously able to see him in person. Talk to us about that moment.
So I have to say that I think it's a small move, but it reflects a big change that President Trump make in the Middle East. And I want to explain. In 1948, the Arab countries gathered to destroy the state of Israel. But in 1979, it was a revolution in Iran, and the Muslim Brotherhood raised their head. Since that, there is a war in the, I would say, between the Arab countries. President Trump make, I say, a genius move when he say, okay, I have to isolate Iran and the terrorists and bring very strong belt with Arab countries that want peace and prosperity. So he said, look, let's put what people say disputed areas. It's not a disputed areas because, you know, Jews belonging to Judea. When people say West Bank, there is no, if there is river, where is the river? Where is the other bank of the river? No. It was a terminology that tried to destroy the state of Israel. He said, look, I have to go to Saudi Arabia, to more countries, and we will build a very strong partnership with the Arabs and isolate the Arab countries that use terror on their way to attack Israel and to attack United States of America. What we saw in Ambassador Huckabee, he came and he said, look, we are here, we understand, no one can deny the place of tabernacle that we prayed there thousands of years ago, and we have many of our forefathers' footsteps, pottery shard, many things. And he came, look, put it aside and let's build a better future. That's what President Trump do. And I think the visit of Ambassador Huckabee was a part of a much bigger movement.
Yeah, the Jerusalem Post also taking note of that. They shared this headline here saying Ambassador Huckabee's visit to the West Bank marks a new era in evangelical ties to Israel in an opinion piece. And I would note too, you know, as a Christian, you believe Israel is part of the Holy Land. And so if you're lucky enough to go on a pilgrimage as a Christian, you can also follow along the steps of Jesus. And those who live in Israel allow and welcome Christians to be able to do so.
So most of the biblical stories happen in Judea and Samaria, like Jeremiah in Anatot, Jacob later was in Bethel, Shiloh, of course, many places. And today, ancient Shiloh, 70% of the people are Christians that come from abroad to pray, to see. And I want to tell you something that, you know, you will not believe me. People see miracles even today. They come and pray, and I have stories every single week, but much more important, they understand that we can try to argue with God, with the place, and we can deny our roots. It will not help us. What President Trump do, say, look, we know the history, we know the truth, put it aside and let's talk about the future. And I think if we will, the next step that we have to do in Israel, not in the United States, it's apply Israel law over this area and to make end for this story and build the better future in more countries, exactly like President Trump do.